All right, I think we're all set. Okay, well, hello everyone, and welcome to this live stream. I have not done one, like I mentioned, since August, I believe. And the reason I want to do these again is to hold me accountable for getting more comfortable in digital, just doing like quick sketches, whatever it is. Trying to dabble in it again, just in case I want to work with color next year more. And then also, I'm trying to build up a Discord community. And if you are watching this after the live stream is over, there's a link below. Oh, Casper. I told Josh before the stream if he could watch Casper, and he unfortunately is just unwatchable. You literally will put him in the back room. If he hears me talking, I think it means, or at least he thinks it means, I will cuddle him or play with him. You're so needy sometimes. He's a very good cat, though. I love him. But anyways, we are building up a community. I'm going to be on it way more from now on. Me and Josh are trying to build more of an at-home art life, and that means more Patreon, more YouTube, and more streams. And a lot of that encompasses a Discord community. So if you want to join it, I will be on it daily. I will be answering questions. I'll be posting things. I'll be sharing not only art stuff, but things that we're watching or games we're playing. Yeah, so I'm hopefully gonna see you on there later. Anyways, what are we doing today? So I'm gonna be doing a warm-up just to like get my hand back into the digital routine, because like I said, it's been a while and I'm not a digital artist by trade anymore. I would say traditional pencil stuff is my day-to-day. I work on it almost 95% of the time. And I want to dabble with color a bit more going into 2024. So I'm going to do that by doing these little warm-ups and then doing kind of bigger illustrations. So my plan for the stream today is I'm going to do a warm-up and then a angel wing warm-up, because that will kind of go into the traditional illustration idea I have in mind, which is partially including an angel in a side view. So I want to be practicing some wings and get some thumbnails out there, and I will post it on the Discord when we're finished. Also, hello everyone. I don't expect a big viewer turnout for this one, because like I said, it's been a while since I've streamed, and usually after like a long absence, it takes a little bit for people to get used to the routine happening again. But if you guys want to share any comments or if you want to ask any questions, I will do my best to answer them while I'm working. And it's always nice to see, I already see some familiar faces. Hello, Felix. Hello, Tijal. Hello, hello. Okay, Casper, I'm going to put you down. There we go. Just be sure to put @vonnart before your question, because I have the stream open on this computer. Let me make this smaller here. That way I can see the comments right away. Actually, I'm going to put this. Oh, that's why it was lagging. I had it open on 2 screens. Man, I am definitely not a streamer by nature anymore, but I'm going to get back into that mindset again. All right, first let's get this tab off the bottom here. So working digitally, why is this kind of weird for me now? A few reasons. And the first one is because when I was taught digital art, it was very much in the way that a traditional painter was taught. You would build up your layers, you do it stroke by stroke, and honestly, it's kind of an outdated way of working digitally. So what I've been trying to do now is I've been trying to kind of unteach or unlearn what I did learn back when I was in college, and I'm going to try to kind of pick up these new kind of techniques into my routine. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna try doing, I found this like perfume bottle, and I'm gonna try having that be my warm-up today. So let's color pick first. The one thing I do like about the way I was taught is to work kind of dark to light. Now, this isn't like a set in stone, you must work this way, but I personally really like working this way. And I'm hoping that as I'm trying to teach myself these new techniques, that will be something that will kind of stick, because I feel like naturally my brain works that way, and I want to work with the way that I think rather than against it. So a lot of what I see now with digital artists is they either will create the shape just freehand, or they'll use the selection tool and like to start selecting a bunch of shapes and then filling them in. Now, like I said, I don't think there's like a right way to do it, but I definitely feel like I've been doing it a wrong way for a little while because my digital drawings take way too long. And I think I'm recognizing the older I get that efficiency is something that I want to strive towards as I get older, because we only have so much time in this world, and I want to make sure that if I am doing digital painting, I'm not noodling within it. And that basically means I'm not just wasting a bunch of time in areas that really don't need like hours upon hours. Like something that could take 10 minutes, I might be spending way too much time on. Move this down. There we go. Oh, hey, Jim. Hello, hello. Tigil says, do you guys survive the Halloween party? We did. It was actually, at least I don't know how Josh feels, but it was my favorite Halloween party to date. We had uh, quite a lot of friends go all out. I think because the theme was video games. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll post pictures in the Discord after this is over. But I was Mean Stare Luigi from Mario Kart, and I had my cart and I had the road. Josh was Frogger, so he was a giant inflatable frog. Our one friend came as a mystery block. Sean always comes as like something funny and blocky, but this year he decided to come as the mystery block from Mario, and if you hit him, he would throw a gold coin out for you to catch it. And then we had one friend go all out. They made if you guys know the game Cult of the Lamb, he made like a giant, I want to say it was like 4.5 feet wide head of the sheep. And it was like a life-size version of the sheep from Cult of the Lamb. And it was phenomenal. It was so good. So always excited to see what people come up with. We had a lot of Pokemon. We had a bunch of trainers and basically the entire cast and crew of the original Pokemon series. Let me see. You know what's funny is working digitally, I forget that I can just like liquefy if things are a little off kilter, and then bam, you're done. It's something that I have to reteach my brain to remember, oh yeah, I can have these little tricks at my disposal. Okay, so basically once we get this all kind of set in stone, then we start building up the interior. And I'm doing this by locking the layer so that I can't draw outside of this box. And the reason I like doing this with the digital work is because once I have that shape kind of set on the outside, I don't really have to focus on the shape language as much, and I can focus more on how does it read? Are the interiors reading well, where you can kind of tell what the shape is, or what the object is supposed to be, I should say. And it was funny, before the stream started, actually, you know what, I'll show you guys. I was trying to do like a Bulbasaur, but I was trying to make it not look exactly like the one, the standard Bulbasaur JPEG that you see on Google Image. A little scary of a Bulbasaur, but I was realizing I think Pokemon's like the best practice tool for relearning digital or possibly shape language. So I might do a stream where I just do like create a bunch of Pokemon based on like whoever is on the stream, like requests, because I think it would be good practice for me to get back into one, not only doing digital, but working more in like a shapular manner, if that's a word. I tend to draw in a lot of line art heavy spaces because I work traditional. And I think I realized with digital, it's really all about shapes. At least for me. I know everyone works differently, but I notice for myself, I need to work in shapes because then I tend to work much faster. I don't know if that's true for any of you watching, but that's definitely very, very, very true for me. Felix says there's a course with Craig Mullins coming up in a few days, which I'm really considering. It's a bit expensive, but I think I'm actually at a point now where I can actually receive that information. And I feel like I've been sort of stagnating in the latter half of the year, and I'm ready for another level up. I would say do it. I have had so many talks with my friends where whenever they do like a schoolism or a smart school, whatever teaching method it is, they never regret it. And I mean, everyone's at different places financially, I understand. But at least the way that I look at it is it's an investment. Don't see it as like a waste of money because you're investing in your skills to help you make more profits down the line if this is more than just like a hobby for you. And I know your situation, Felix, obviously, you have grown exponentially this year. I've been just like amazed watching your growth and how you just are taking this career by the reins and just like going for it. And it's been very impressive. So yeah, if you have that intuition, feel that, okay, I'm going to take this class, I feel like I'm ready, then I would definitely encourage it as well. I would say you are more than ready. I don't know what would be holding you back besides yourself. Well, and financial, but I really do believe that you are going to be one of those artists that will make it. So if it's time to level up, then it's time to level up, and it will help you even more further down the line to make those sales. So this is where digital also is kind of fun because I can now just paint over the purple that I did, and then literally because the light source is coming from the left side and overhead, I can lay this in and it'll just automatically start to give it that shape and that value. And this is the thing that I missed about digital that you don't really get with pencil drawing as quickly, because with pencils you gotta like shade it up, and it's usually a slow process because you're using pencils and the tip is obviously limited, where when you're working digital you can make the brush huge and just do like giant, you know, brush strokes that cover half the canvas. So this is something that I do want to get back into, with trying to think more broadly in like big bold shapes and brush strokes. If I ever notice myself detailing too quickly, I have to pull back immediately and be like, nope, no. You're not gonna go back to the old ways of how you did digital. We gotta enforce that we're sticking with this new method of digital work. Curse Fetus, dude, missed you guys. I kind of miss doing this as well. I think doing so many cons and traveling so much makes doing streams hard, because then when I am home from a con, I just need to like take a break, and especially I think recharge my social battery. Josh thinks I don't really have a battery that needs to be recharged after cons, but I think it's easy to charge. It's very quick to charge. I think I do enjoy the company of other people and especially other artists, but I just need like a good like 2 or 3 days, and then I'm good again. But with cons, you know, you get back from a show on a Monday, you have to repack because then you might leave for a show again on a Wednesday, and that was typically my stream day, and it would just conflict, and it was just a mess. So me and Josh have talked about it. We're going to try to do less cons next year and focus more on at-home projects like I mentioned in the beginning. So yeah, you'll see more of me streaming. And actually, if you join our Discord community, I'm hoping to do more like casual streams, so ones that aren't as structured. Now, mind you, I don't think this one's that structured either, but it'll definitely be more so like, hey, I'm going to be joining the Discord chat. I might be working on something. I might be doing a warm-up drawing. I might be doing a coin or pin design. And you can just join that openly, because I don't know if I necessarily want those recorded for YouTube, but I definitely would like to become more acquainted with the community. And I think that will be like one way to do so. And especially with my Patreon backers, I want them to feel like there's more opportunities to have one-on-one time, or like I might do critique reviews of their work on the Discord channel. Okay, moving forward with this perfume bottle here, I am going to add some fun colors. Something that I really miss with pencil work, or with digital, I mean, that I don't get with pencil, is color, obviously. Now, I don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash pencil. It's my favorite thing in the world. But there are times where I really do miss working with color. And especially with a nice purple kind of vibe, I love a good like orange accent. Gasper, what are you looking for? He's so confused. Normally, I draw in the front room, like with some kind of a Netflix series or marathon in the background. So he can usually cuddle up against me up there. But when I'm in this room and if I'm talking, he gets very confused. He's like, "What are you doing?" Also, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. Anyways, let's see here. Felix says, like a lot of things, you kind of do something intuitively, but then when a teacher breaks them down in a systematic way, you feel like you actually know what you're doing. Wait, maybe I have to reread that again. Oh, yeah, like it is like a natural instinct while you're working. Yeah, and I think having someone explain it, it's like, oh, okay, so I was doing this right. Or in my case, I feel like I had a, oh, I was definitely doing this wrong scenario. Ooh. Now, mind you, I'm trying not to do more than like 20. I mean, this was only supposed to be 20 minutes of a warm up, but we're already nearing on that. So maybe I'll go like a little longer. But I'm going to switch to the wings. Because another thing I got to try to focus on too is I want to work faster. I know with streams is a little more difficult because I'm answering questions, I'm looking up, I'm not as in the zone per se. But I think it would be a good habit for me to try to time myself on these streams so that I can force myself to be faster, because I do have a tendency to noodle in my work. And basically, if you don't know what noodling means, it's like, yeah, you're working, but you're not making a lot of progress. And I think especially with my pencil drawings, I might be rendering something for a while, but it's like, am I really making progress on this? Or am I just like making it 5% darker in an area that didn't really need it and it doesn't really read when you pull it further away? I definitely have that as like a bad habit. And I think that's why my tarot deck has been taking much longer than it should be, because I'm zooming in so much on each drawing and it really doesn't need that. And I kind of have to remind myself that it's okay. It's okay. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Barbara. Hello, I almost forgot that there was a live stream tonight. I just came back from eating pancakes at my sister's house. I love a breakfast dinner. I am definitely one of those people where I have zero qualms about having breakfast for dinner. Gotta make sure we get this bottom lip here. Barbara is also one of those artists that have been just killing it this year. I feel like, I mean, not to stroke everyone's ego in the chat, but I feel like, Barbara, you have really also impressed the hell out of me this year. I mean, your work and your shading and your compositions are just so, I mean, they're definitely in my realm of what I enjoy when I look at art. I'm a maximalist, and like your Drawtober pieces, the one specifically Dolls in the Attic, oh my gosh, I thought that was incredible. So kudos. I've just been very happy. I've been happy to see your and Felix's growth this year. It's been kind of fun to watch. And it just, I don't know, it's cool. I enjoy seeing it. And I hope as I connect more with the community, I get to see more of that. And I didn't realize how much enjoyment I get from that. Okay. Let me move this. And then let's do just a little bit of touches on this diamond gem thing at the top here. I'm going to take, so a lot of the times when I'm working with things that are super saturated, I'll literally color pick the gray from the background and bring it into the piece as if it's like a bounce light or something. And partially I do that because when you're working with so much saturation, having that nice contrast can help those saturated areas look even more like bright and beautiful. But if everything was like a high saturation, you might lose some of that impact. I'm trying so hard as well to use this selection tool. Like I said, not an intuitive thing for me, so I gotta force myself. What's fun about gems too is if you do a different value on each facet of the cut of the gem, you can quickly kind of create the illusion of a gemstone. I mean, look at what I just did. That's just, 6 simple shapes, and all of a sudden we have a gemstone. And then I'm going to use my eraser tool to sharpen it and cut it down. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Oh, hey, Bio. I have had so many debates with myself. I don't know if I actually know. For the longest time, I thought I was an introvert because I'm an artist and it was like my way to connect to people through this visual language. But then came college and I noticed that I was one of I don't want to say the more social ones, but when you're in a school full of like nerds and weirdos, and that's what I am too, so I'm not like calling anyone out. You notice that there are people that are much more quiet and more like to themselves. And I think I was put in the role of extrovert because of that. So I feel like I've been convincing myself that I am more extroverted. But then when I'm home and it's just Josh and I, honestly, I kind of enjoy it a lot. But then there are times like where I really enjoy hanging out with people and I like competition. And I know there's things like amnivert where they say like you're both, but I genuinely don't know what I am. I think I had a pretty crazy psychedelic experience last year, and it kind of threw me for a loop of like who I am and what I enjoy doing. And I think since then, I've been trying to figure things out and like piece together who am I? Like, who is this person that I've been controlling for so long? If I had to answer though, I would definitely say introvert. I enjoy my time alone drawing. I think that's when I get a lot done. But I do really enjoy the company of others. So it's weird. I'm close to 50-50. Okay. I think I need to move on from this warm up. Maybe like one final piece. You know what? I'll do a little bounce light on the edge of the other side of the bottle on the brown kind of faded brass part. And what's nice, if you lock the layer, you can literally just paint right up to that edge. Like that. Okay, that was my first little warm up. Let's get into the second warm up, and then we'll get into the actual drawing. Like I said, I'm kind of trying to do a couple warm-ups per stream now, just so I can get more comfortable digitally and to get me into like working faster. Let me move this over here. Will the bottle be added to Grizzy's? That's cute. No, but I do have some good news about swordplay. I don't want to say it on this stream. For those of you who don't know, I'm working on, well, I have been since I was a little child, but I've always wanted to work in video games. I thought that's what my job would be as I got older. So I had this idea since I was a kid of a video game that I wanted to make. And then eventually I realized, oh, well, if I can't make it into a game because that takes a lot of effort, maybe I can make a illustrated novel of it. So I've had this book idea on my back burner for so long, and I just wish I didn't even tell anyone about it until I actually had time to work on it. Because right now my schedule is very much working on the tarot deck, which is good. I'm glad that I'm spending time on that. I'm doing my next big art book, which will be kickstarted in May of next year. And then I have our wedding, which will be in June. So my only focus for the next like 6, 8, or what is that, 7 months, 8, 7, um, is to focus on that book, making sure that it looks good. Because it's a 5 year, or it's a 10 year art book, technically 11 years. So it's going to be all 5 of my first art books into one giant coffee table book. And I'm hoping to have that kind of ready to go of spring next year. So literally my entire winter is going to be focused on that, plus wedding planning. And the big thing that I have to do for our wedding is me and Josh are making our outfits for what we wear at the ceremony. And I'm not a seamstress. I have to kind of teach myself how to do things. And that will just take a while. So I don't want to put a lot of projects on my back right now, unless if I feel like I have time to execute them well. I'm reading this book right now called Essentialism, and it basically talks about how you shouldn't have a lot of things going on at the same time because you end up throwing a lot of non-essentials on your plate, is what the book kind of talks about. And I definitely think I've done that, because if I'm only giving something 30% effort, is it even worth doing at that point? Like, I'd rather give it, 100% if I could, and have there not be like a bunch of things happening at the same time. So that's why for now I'm going to put my illustrated novel kind of on a back burner, but with very, very clear intentions that once the wedding's over and the Kickstarter is all fulfilled, I'm going to very much be diving headfirst into that pool. Crispy says, do you feel live streaming helps being more talkative? Yesterday made my first live stream ever. It did definitely make me more comfortable talking while painting. It's a weird skill set that you wouldn't even think about until you actually are doing it, because I did live streams a lot for my first job, which was a company called CG Cookie, and it was like part of my job to stream every Wednesday. And at first it was very weird, but over time I feel that I got more comfortable with it, and then you lose a lot of the nervousness that comes with it. And now I feel like I can do it okay. It would probably be easier if I had, and I've been talking with Josh. We're gonna try to figure out maybe if like he does like voice modding where he's just asking me questions, or we'll figure it out. We're still in like the early process. But yes, I guess long answer to a short question. Yes, I feel like streaming definitely made it easier to be talkative. Barbara says, it was such a great challenge and there were so many new amazing artists to discover through October. I loved it. This was definitely my personal favorite year of just overall. I think there were a lot of good ideas. We were experimenting with a lot of things with like the Drawtober Discord, and then having a sponsor like Zens Labs kind of help us out with bigger prizes. It was interesting all around for sure. I'm gonna move that warm up thing higher. Oop. There we go. Now, mind you, I'm kind of just winging it with the colors right now. Unintentional pun, that was bad. So it might look kind of gross for a little while, but I think part of what I'm trying to do with my color layouts is just to trust my gut for a while and not worry too much if it's looking like either too saturated or not really my typical taste in colors. So we'll see how that goes. Felix, you're engaged now too? Well, congrats, Felix. That's great news. How did it happen? May I ask? Who proposed to who? Nick says, was busy with college, but I missed your streams so much. They're so peaceful. I hope to keep it that way too. I feel like the community that I built up when I was streaming all the time was just a really solid one. Like, it was never very drama filled at all, actually. And the people that would come my stream, I feel like just didn't care about drama stuff. They just wanted to draw and hang out, and I'm hoping to kind of rebuild that now. Sigil says, so maybe does Tim see the deleted messages? So I might have posted the same comment 3 times because it looked like it got deleted. Oh, is that a thing YouTube does now? To be honest, I'm so out of the loop. I never really know when there's new updates on YouTube that affect the stream until like someone notices them like you just did. So let me know if that's actually a thing. Are we ready to color hop? Let's see here. This is my favorite part about digital. I want to do, no, not this. Or is that what that looks like now? Oh. Interesting. Well, this is new. Oh no, this is the same. Wait. You know what it is that I wanted to do? I want to do a gradient map. There we go. Okay, so this was one of those tricks that I learned from back in the day, and this one I'm gonna stick, or still do, as I get back on my journey with digital, or getting back on digital. So essentially you make the layer like 10% opacity, and then you randomize this, and it better, or like keeps the colors within a more cohesive range. You know what though? I almost want to like invert this. Ooh, I like these darker colors. Ooh, actually, the one thing that I definitely miss about digital is the freedom to play within the piece. Because like you might do a color shift like what I just did, and that changes the whole direction. Where now I'm like, oh, I love this like crimson blood red. And I'm gonna keep it on like the tips of the wings. And because it like very much saturated everything, I can then pull in some more desaturated colors to help balance it out. Oh, very interesting. And then honestly, I could probably bring back that like yellow. Oh, that's where I should be using the selection tool. Weird, right? What would be your biggest advice for living together with your significant other? To always talk it out. Try to see the perspective from the other person's. Try to get in the shoes of the other person, essentially. Nope, Casper. Why? All right, you can lay down right in front of my Cintiq. Hi. What other advice? Oh, be sure to like do things around the house without your significant other knowing about it, and don't try to take credit for it if they don't see it. Like, don't acknowledge that you're doing it because it is like a shared household. Casper. Because I feel like the blame game never works, and I think holding things against one another is kind of bad down the line. But also, just have fun with everything. Don't take things too seriously. I feel like if there's one thing that Josh and I are pretty good at together is that we both don't take things too seriously. And I feel like that definitely helps. Maybe do like maybe 5-10 more minutes of this kind of color exploration, and then I will switch to my traditional. Oh, I love the palette going on though. See, this is what I miss about digital. This kind of stuff. Where was I? Felix says Alex proposed to me. I know he wanted to, but I think he chickened out when we had a moment during our vacation, so then he did it while we were cuddling at home. Oh, that's cute. Well, congrats, Felix. And then a big public proposal would not have been your vibe. I feel like I kind of threw that at Josh. I think he would have preferred maybe a more intimate one without realizing that he might have actually loved like a big public one. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, Josh, you're in the comments. Am I wrong? I feel like you really enjoyed that day, and I think having your closest friends around you was actually very special. But I understand both because I could see why a more like private one could be just as endearing and special. I think it just depends on the person. I think what it comes down to is people just like being engaged to the person they love. So how they do it doesn't necessarily matter that much. I could be wrong with that as well. But in my opinion, that's how I feel. Something else that I don't really do traditionally that I definitely do more digitally is create like blocks of just color. Where normally if I'm doing things traditionally, I'm outlining everything. Like you can almost expect like this kind of like this, where I'm outlining every feather. Where when you're working digital, you can kind of get away with, or not even get away with, but it's almost more fun just to like block out giant shapes of, like in this case, the feathers. I I love the username. I don't have time for a name to put here. Hi, I followed you since forever. I kind of lost count of the years on Instagram, but I never commented, so I just want to say how much I love your art and I hope you're doing wonderfully. Well, thank you. Um, I would definitely say I'm doing very wonderfully right now. Things in life are really good. They're definitely busy and they're definitely hectic, but I kind of prefer when life is busy versus when it's too slow. Um, Definitely personal preference, but that's kind of where it's at right now, and especially with the holidays and stuff coming up. Oh god, I love a good light value on like a dark tone. Like doing these kind of light feather outlines. Maybe I'll do maybe some solid fill-ins. Oh, I love how that looks. Let me zoom in for you guys see that. Oh, I just like how that looks a lot. Color can be just so entrancing, and that's I genuinely think that's why I want to get back into color, because it's so much fun to play with and mix around, and I get a little bit of that with the traditional pencil, but it's more on value blocking and like creating fun gradations within, you know, a grayscale value. And that, don't get me wrong, I love doing that. But sometimes with color, it's more like a happy accident, I feel. And I feel like it's very rare for me to have that same level of happy accident um, traditional than when I'm working digital. Schwa says, I loved it. It was nice having friends nearby, but I've also been good with a private one too. I just love. Josh is definitely just a love of love type person. I'm trying to encourage Josh to do more like video game streams on the Discord, where if like anyone watch him what wants to watch him play games, he's actually very good. Specifically, if you guys know a horror game called Dead by Daylight, I think Josh is like very good at it. Um, and it's actually really fun to watch. And I'm not even into horror games at all, but watching him trick the killer and have like a chase be so long so that his team can do well, I think is like a skill that not a lot of people have specifically in that game, and I think he like possesses it and he's very good at it. So if y'all are on the Discord, if you could encourage Josh to do more of that. And plus, it's just fun watching video games in the background while drawing. I would say that's one of our perks of being together, is I love watching him play video games while I'm drawing. Because I used to play a lot of video games as a kid, but I feel like I haven't been able to play a lot as an adult because a lot of my time now goes towards this, just working a lot, which is fine because I do enjoy drawing a lot. I really do. But I don't want to feel like I'm missing out on games. Ooh, this is so fun. I love working with this. All right, I'm going to switch over to my traditional shortly here. But this was definitely the warm-up I needed. Ooh, and then let's do like a lighter kind of creamsicle orange color on the back wing. It's kind of fun too, working digitally, is you can kind of test out big blocks of value before committing to it. Let's see, do I like that? Kind of. Maybe at like half speed. There we go. So I want to do maybe just a little bit of detailing on this back wing, and then I'll switch to pencils. Let's see here. I don't have time for a name to put here. It says, I chose a username when I was 14. I really didn't have any idea of what to put, so I just procrastinated the name and I forgot to change it. I think it's great. Jim says, has anyone tried Procreate Dreams? I know 2 of my friends specifically have tried it, and I have a meeting with them tomorrow, so I'll ask them about it. But it looks really good. When I was at Lightbox, they had a bunch of demos set up for Procreate Dreams, and I didn't take the time to actually dabble with it, but I did do a couple of like the demo pieces that they already had done, and that was pretty interesting just on that. I mean, I do like Procreate a lot, and I don't know if I would ever dabble with animation that much, but I'm curious enough where I'm like, you know what, I just want to see what it is in case I ever wanted to use it or use it for like a reel of some kind. So I'll probably dabble with it. And if I do get proficient with it enough, I would definitely do a live stream working in it. But it's only if I am like, yes, I feel confident enough that I can show this to people and give them a general idea of what's going on here. Tigil, what is MC? Oh, Minecraft? Josh definitely he's been talking about making a Minecraft server for the longest time. I think because I don't have any desire to play it anymore, I feel like I had a place for Minecraft. I had a really good time with it, but I think like playing it again, I feel like a lot of those surprises, a lot of those like fun moments, I already know what happens, so I don't know if it would be quite the same. And for me nowadays, I want to play very story-heavy games or FromSoft games, to be honest. I just started Dark Souls 3 a couple months ago, but I had to put it on pause because of all the cons. And then literally I decided out of the blue just to get Mario RPG, and that's been a blast to dabble with. Actually, no, I take it back. That has not been a blast. That has been kind of in the same camp as like the early Final Fantasies when I tried to replay them. Like, it's cute. I like the aesthetic. It definitely has good music. It does what it needs to, but I don't think it is very good as an adult. I think if I was a kid again, I think I would enjoy it, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to put this one in the nostalgia rose-tinted glasses category. I'm sorry if anyone enjoys that game, but it is hard to play as an adult. Okay. I think I feel pretty good about this warm-up. I do want to get better at not having everything be so like clearly rounded out with a brush like this. I think that'll just be me exploring more brushes potentially. We'll see. But let me go ahead and switch this over now. And I guess for those of you who weren't here earlier, let me show a little recap of what we did. Ooh, what is this? There we go. So I did a little, oh, that's my scary Bulbasaur from before the stream. My perfume bottle and angel wings. So like even this perfume bottle, see how dull it is compared to the angel wings? I think it's because I prefer working more in duller colors so that when it comes time to, you know what, really quick, let's add a gradient map to this. Crazy colors, turn the opacity down. So you can see already when that turns on and off, it definitely, it brings a little bit more of a light clementine cohesion. But then let's adjust the values. Let's make those pop. See how rich we can make that almost immediately. And I definitely have an affinity for working in darker colors and like layering up those fun saturated and lighter values. So you can see before and after. Oop. There. Yeah, now we're getting a little bit more of those rich jewel tones. And then lastly, we had our wings. This I actually might take a little further. I just like how they look. There's this artist whose brushes I'm actually using, Yu Ming. I don't know if you can see that on the screen here. I'll just write it down. I downloaded his brush pack and he draws a lot of angel wings as like practice. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that is a great subject matter to practice on. So I would check out Yu Ming's work. I think they are one of the like best new artists of 2023. It seems like everyone's following them nowadays and everyone's buying the Gumroad tutorials and the brushes. And I am one of those people. I also bought the brushes and they are great. Really enjoy working with them. Okay, so let me switch over to traditional. What time is it? 2:51? Perfect. Move this over. So the other reason I did angel wings is because I have another drawing in mind, and it's kind of a two-part drawing, and it's similar to the haunted house in the fact that I'm going to have some animation with it. Not a lot, but I kind of have a quick cut idea for it. So I'm not going to reveal what the final cut of this drawing is, but I will start drawing the first half, and then the other half will be a surprise when I finish the illustration. So this is something that I'm hoping to have done by next week. I'm looking to have the next tarot card done this week, so that's kind of my focus when I have the downtime. But then once this next tarot card is done, then I'm going to switch over. Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to switch to this camera. Let's see. Okay, it's a little delayed. We're going to have like a 3-second delay here. Let me see. How should I display this? I might actually turn my phone around. So it's like this. So it's kind of sitting over my left shoulder. I'm going to flip it. Sorry for anyone that is motion sick. There we go. Somewhat like there. Okay. Let me pull up my reference that I took earlier today. Big thank you to Josh for being the reference model. So I won't be showing the reference pictures, but I will say essentially it is Josh with his wings behind him in a side profile, and he is going to be looking at something. Oop, wait, I don't want to open up beta. I have a really bad habit of when I don't know if any of you downloaded, or like if Photoshop forced you to download Photoshop beta, but now whenever I open something up, it tries to open it in beta instead of the 2024, and it's frustrating. I just gotta get used to it. Okay, I'm gonna move the comments over here so I can see them a little more easily. There we go. Ignore this giant phone in our view field here. I'm going to put my references right on the screen in front of me. What's this tab? Okay. Oh, you know what, Josh, could you grab my pencils? They're in the front room next to the tarot card I was working on. Just grab me the whole pack. Yeah, they're not in here. Let me work on getting this less blurry. Let's see here. Felix says Dark Souls 3 is so good. I still prefer Elden Ring, but the Dark Souls 3 DLC bosses are the best of the series. I think, not that far. I just beat like this giant tree creature in a cathedral. And then you fall down, and I'm a little further past that. I really like the themes of Dark Souls 3. I knew nothing about any of the Dark Souls games. I have been playing the FromSoft games. Oh, do you want to say hi on camera?
Yeah, I'll say hi on camera. Hi, everybody.
Oh, everyone, this is Josh. You have to get like really low.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
And then it's over there.
I know, so you have to like remember to look over there. So everyone, this is Josh.
Hello.
This is our moderator and my soon-to-be husbando.
Very soon. Oh, both cats are in here now. They're being good.
Yeah, actually, I don't even know how to show this. Oh, you might have to turn it. Keep going, keep going. There's cat number 1, and cat number 2 is behind the book stack here. So our black cat is Casper.
Don't move that.
And our calico is Astrid.
Good cats, good cats.
Yeah, they're actually being really good right now. Usually when I'm streaming, they're a little nuts, so.
Right there, is that good?
A little more. Because I'll be leaning over. Yeah, right there.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'll see you guys in chat in a second. Oh gosh.
Take care, Josh. Oh no, it's good. Okay. Ooh. So, I won't reveal what's going on, but essentially I'm going to be doing this drawing here. At least that's the thumbnail. So I need to be doing a picture of Josh in a side view. So I'll probably make his head like right here. Let me make sure you guys can see this then too. Oh, gotta get the comments back on. There we go. Tijal says I'm actually making Wings a cosplay outfit for next year, and they are gonna move and stuff. Very excited. Wow, Tijal, that is a project. I am very excited for you because whenever I see like a winged cosplay at cons, they always garner so much attention. People love them. So to start off the drawing, I definitely need to get a lot of the shapes so that the proportions feel right. So I might be doing a little bit of erasing and while I'm talking, Sometimes when I'm streaming, this can be like the hardest part. And then once the proportions and like the line art is all set, I'm good. I can literally render in shade while doing anything. Like I could be watching a series, I could be cooking, I could be balancing things with my other hand, I could be juggling. I feel like rendering is definitely the easiest part for me about drawing. It's definitely getting the shapes and everything kind of lined up first. That is a little more time. I don't want to say, I was going to say mind exhausting, but that's not the right word. It is definitely more of a focus for me, I'll say. Hey, Daryl. Hello, hello. Oh, they're saying hi to Josh. Oh, never mind. Yes, definitely post process or progress pictures, digital, when you're working on it. Feathers are literally the most, like one of the most fun subject matters I think I personally have in drawing, like that I would prefer drawing. There's just so much you can do with them, and especially if you be sure to add the little imperfections to each feather. I will say, whenever I see drawings or outfits or cosplays with feathers, if they all look too perfect, it almost makes it look less than in my mind. It's when you take the time to like kind of strand some of the feathers out or make it a little more imperfect, and maybe there's some cuts that are irregular on some of them, have just slightly different sizes or like a couple of them just slightly bigger. I think it adds just a lot to the overall aesthetic. Okay, I think I definitely want the wings going off the page to kind of help with the kind of display the size of the wings, and I think it will have more of an impact by doing so. Oh, you know what, Daryl? I honestly think my comments are just moving too fast. So sorry if you already said hi. Oh, you're talking about accents. Yeah, I definitely have just confirmed to myself that I have an accent. It's very Wisconsin, whatever that means, and I am kind of owning it. Also, the thing about drawing a human from a photo, and actually, I just read this book about when you draw someone, you really want to try to capture the soul of that person in your drawing. Not in like a dark, demonic way, because that sounds kind of weird out loud, but in a way of like capture anything that makes them more of themselves. So for Josh, it's like he has just a little bit of his neck, like it pulls forward just a little bit, and his collarbone sticks up just a little bit more than a typical body. And the more of these little kind of unique traits that you add to that person's overall physique, it'll just read more and more of that person. And then when you finally finish, it'll be very clear who that person is. And if you did a really good job, you're able to tell a little bit about how that person has like lived their life. And this book that I read, I don't know if I would recommend necessarily reading it, but it was called The Zen of Seeing. And the whole idea is when you draw something, you want to become it. You want to look at it and try to understand more about it just from looking at it. And the examples that they used a lot were like flowers. And if like there was one flower that had like a petal that was turned or curled a little bit or had a rip in it, or one petal was dying a little, or maybe like half the flower was starting to wilt, you start to create a story for yourself of why that is. And maybe it's like if there wasn't a lot of rain, so the petal started to droop, or the flower started to droop, and it's like kind of grasping for life because it needs water to survive. And if you capture that well, it'll come across in your drawing. And then likewise the other way, if it's doing very well and it's like full of, it's blossoming and there might be bugs and there's a story there. One of the quotes that I really liked, it was something along the lines of, when you're drawing a mountain, you learn nothing new about the mountain besides its mountainness. Or no, it was a rock. It was, when you draw a rock, you don't learn anything new about that rock, but you learn what its rockiness is. You look at the texture. You kind of go inside your brain of like, how did this rock become the way that it is? What are the elements that are consisting, or what is it made up of? And I like the idea that when you look at something, like really look at it, because when you start to capture all those different details, that's when you'll start to really see the beauty that is more than just drawing a rock. You are capturing like a personality, you're capturing texture. And those are things, when you're a viewer, you really appreciate, or at least I know I do, whenever I see someone like add those. And people always talk about it's like the little details that matter, but it's so true. Those are the things that will stick out to the viewer. Now, mind you, I'm freehanding this right now. There is a good chance that I may have to like go back in, erase, and move some things up or down. And that's one of the risks you take when you do freehand drawing. I know that there's ways to construct it, and you can do like the Proco way, where you're drawing a bunch of shapes and then simplifying them. But every artist is going to work different, and for me, I always found the joy in drawing from freehand. So like, yes, I have done it the other way where it's more technically sound, and I do like that, but if I can get away with it, I'm going to try to freehand it first. And then if I'm like doing a really poor job after like my second, third, fourth, fifth try, then yeah, maybe then I'll start pulling out some of the fundamental blocks and kind of lay it on. But if I can just dive into it right away, I'm going to try to do that first. Tijel says, I always thought I would love to model for someone's drawing one day, but hearing you analyze little details in the body like that, I kind of feel self-conscious. Honestly, I feel like the older we get, the less self-conscious we become. And I don't think I'm that much older than you, but I will say there gets to a point where it really doesn't matter. Like, I've disconnected so much from like my physical body, and I don't know even how to say this without sounding like out there, but to me this is literally just like a physical vessel. This is just like meat and blood and bone. What makes you actually you is what's inside, whatever you want to call it, whether it's a soul or however you want to identify it. But like, our bodies that we're carrying around with us isn't you. Like, let's say you have a wart on your forehead. You are not the wart on your forehead. You happen to be like carrying around this vessel that has that, but you are not that, if that makes sense. So if like someone was nitpicking what's wrong with me, like I definitely get dandruff when I get stressed out. I think my ears are not symmetrical. One definitely sticks out more than the other. My face in general is not symmetrical. My eyebrow like is overgrown on one side compared to the other. And things like that used to bother me so much, but now I'm like, I just don't care. Like, when you hit your 30s, there is a shift in how people interact with you, and it becomes less about how you look and definitely more into who you are. And that has been one of the biggest blessings to learn as I got older, because now I almost don't care too much, to the point where like I'll go to the grocery store looking kind of slobbish, if I'm being honest with myself, and I just don't care, because I know who I am and I know when I'm around my friends or I'm around family, I enjoy their company. I'm pretty sure they enjoy mine, and that's all that really matters. So don't worry if your body has like little, things that you would like to change with it. I think if anything, it's more gross, and no offense to the people that do this, that like get way too much plastic surgery or lip filler or the new thing, which is the what's it called, the buccal fat removed from their cheeks. Whatever that is, I think it looks terrible. And you're losing some of like the traits that make you look human. um, and now like I used to hate that my smile lines don't connect. There's like two lines. But then it was like a few years ago I realized my dad has the same thing, and I really look up to my dad, and I'm like, "Oh, how great is it that I get to carry this like physical anomaly with me, and then after he passes, it'll be like one thing every time I look in the mirror, I can just be reminded that, I am my father's son, and I hold a lot of pride in that." Um, Anyways, long tangent, but I think it's because a lot of my friends talk to me about physical traits and how much it bothers them, and it makes me really sad hearing that. So Tijal, don't ever feel bad about if you have any imperfections with your body. You know what though, Josh, your head is sticking out a little too much, so I'm gonna have to do the thing all artists hate doing, and every traditional artist knows how this feels. There we go. Gotta do it. I've taught myself not to think about it too much. If I can tell that the drawing doesn't look right, just erase it right away. If it's unfixable from the position that it's currently in, erase. Erase so hard. Plus, I think your head was too big, Josh. No fault of your own. Completely the artist's hand. Kerr says, "Sup, do you notice a difference between real gold paper versus imitation? I surprisingly have never worked with real gold paper. I have real gold flakes in the house. I just have never used them. So I'll have to let you know after I start using real gold leaf." I mean, from what I hear, it's pretty similar. Only like the finest of art collectors would notice the difference. But I have no idea about its practicality over time. So that I'll have to get back to you on. Tishel says, "It's funny though, sometimes I see one of your drawings and I can tell Josh posed for that arm or Tim took reference of himself for that." Yeah. Poor Josh dating an artist. He had no idea that he would also be a part-time model. Unpaid, mind you. But yeah, I try to tell everyone that we are a free walking reference of anatomy and proportions. So whenever possible, just use yourself as the reference. There are a lot of females that I've drawn in my lineup and in my illustration work they're just me. They're just me with like a few edits. I feel like your ear needs to be pushed back. Just need to like focus for a second. You don't really have that defined of a jawline from the side. You can always tell when I'm focusing if I get quiet. I feel like the ear should be like here. And in that case, I need this to be just a little bit bigger on this side. I think it's also good for me to show that when I'm drawing, I am constantly erasing and adjusting, because I think there's way too many social media videos where artists like do something really quick, and it's like, yeah, that's every good artist. That's how it is. You just magically do it on the first try every time. It's a very weird, unrealistic standard to be sending out into the world, and then like a younger artist will see it, and then they'll be like, oh god, sometimes when I draw a hand, it takes me like 7 tries, but this artist can just nail it out on the first try. Probably will help doing this after the stream when I don't have a camera, like my phone, directly in my face drawing this. Maybe I'll work on the wings then instead. Okay. Or let me at least give somewhat of a face so we can see what we're working with here. So there's definitely a reel in mind for this drawing, and there's definitely a song already picked out. And it's weird. Sometimes when I'm making short videos or reels or TikToks, whatever you want to call them, sometimes I'll go into it blind and I'm like, okay, I need to get content out there, and that's how I used to work. But now that I'm in this new era of I don't have to post all the time, I only post if I'm excited about what I'm working on, or if it is something that I feel is worth sharing. So like I probably won't be posting reshares of old work on my Instagram much again, if ever. And you might only see me post like 1 to 2 times a month. And I thought that was like a crazy strategy. And it was given to me by an artist named Devin L. Kurtz. Actually, Josh, if you could link her stuff in the comments. She has become one of those artists that, even though she's younger than me, she inspires me quite a lot. And she understands how social media works and how it'd be too much to try to explain in this live stream. But essentially, to sum it up, her whole idea is quality over quantity, in the sense of what was it, all bangers, no fillers. And this advice may not be for everyone. I had one of my friends be like, well, yeah, that's great for you because you already have a following, so you can take those risks of barely posting and getting away with it. So mind you, take any piece of advice that I give on these streams with a grain of salt. They may not be for you, but at least just something for you to hear, and maybe it'll like resonate with you, maybe not. But it very much resonated with me. And over the last 3 months, I have gained over 12, I usually write it down here, 12,000 followers on Instagram, and I've only posted 3 times. And that has been the most eye-opening thing for me, because I stopped resharing old work that people may not want to see it on their feed. And I realized if you work with the algorithm, it'll give you back in return what you're looking for. So in my case, rather than posting like an old drawing that maybe most of my followers have already seen, they're not going to like it. They're not going to share or comment on it. And that hurts my algorithm, because then people aren't engaging with it almost at all. But if I'm posting a brand new piece, and maybe for some of you who are listening, maybe you're in that same boat, where if you were posting a lot because that's how the algorithm used to be, like a feed the beast mentality, try maybe not posting for like a month, and then post just a single new drawing that you're really proud of and you really think like encapsulates who you are as an artist. And I'd be curious to hear if that went well for you or not. And that is what I mean about all bangers, no fillers. So even with Drawtober, I had this haunted lighthouse that I was creating, and rather than posting every single room that I created as I finished it, because every prompt was like a different section of the haunted house, instead I waited until all the rooms were basically done, and I made one giant post video showing each of the rooms, and it did very, very well. And it just reminded me of, don't treat people like they're idiots. And not in like a derogatory way, but in a way of they know the intention behind what you're posting. If you're resharing old work, you're looking for clout, you're looking for recognition or relevancy. Where if you're posting something new, the intention is different. It's like you're actually excited to share it with your audience, and your audience, I think, will read that. And they're more likely to engage and share or like it or whatever if it's a new piece of work than if it's like something that they've seen, 3 or 4 times before already. All right, let me get back to the comments here. Digital says, "Oh, I'm very comfortable with my body. I stopped caring what people think a long time ago, but for some reason the thought of someone observing it in great detail to copy it is kind of a strange feeling. But I use myself as reference constantly, so it shouldn't be that strange to me. And I've got such a hard time finding the right songs to fit my stories. It can take me way too long." That is tricky. When you have like a reel or a TikTok ready to go, but then you can't find a song, I'm not kidding you. Sometimes it'll take me hours. And I wish that was like an exaggeration, but I'm not. It will literally take hours to find a 13-second clip of a song, which is outrageous. But with these bigger illustrations that I plan to do, and they're not even like bigger in the sense that they have more detail or more time consuming, but bigger as in I feel like I have a idea behind it and I want to execute it in a very specific way. There's usually like a song behind what I'm doing, and I try not to just choose what's popular or what's trending. I try to stick to my guns and try to find what is best for the piece. So even with the haunted house reels that I created for Drawloween or Drawtober, not Drawloween, I very much wanted to do Edward Scissorhands because I love that soundtrack. I thought Danny Elfman hit it out of the park, but I really wanted specifically this song Storytime. And then the one from Casper, One Last Wish, that one always really stuck with me, and it's very fitting for like a haunted house. But there was one song. It was one of the Edward Scissorhands ones because I had 3 videos for the haunted house. And that one, even though the other songs were available on Instagram, the one that I needed was not available. And for those of you who might know, when you post a song with copyrighted music in it that's not like one of the ones that are approved by Instagram, the audio will get taken out, and which basically renders the whole video ineffective. So the night that I was planning to post the second drawing, I didn't realize, or the second video, I didn't realize that the song would not be available. So I was scrambling, and for like an hour and a half, I was just on this bed back here, and I was just looking for new music. And then I even went to Josh. I was like, "Hey, I'm stuck between 3 songs. Can I get your opinion?" Because music can make a huge difference in your engagement when you're posting video content. So don't take your video or your song choices for granted. They will very much affect the engagement that your video will have. Jim says, "As we get into our 30s and ahem 40s, how can we maintain our bodies during long creative works, especially the cozy late days of winter?" So Josh and I, every morning, we do a 15-minute workout, and it's usually something from YouTube. Actually, we have this great new routine from this guy that does like targeted workouts. So it'll be very much like biceps only, or chest and back only, and they are very effective for the very short amount of time that you're doing them. It'll only be like 10-15 minutes. Oh, Casper. But you'll definitely feel it. But something that you should do if you're wanting to just be more flexible is try to do more of like yoga. And whenever Josh and I are feeling sore from like the actual workouts, oh my God, Casper, we'll do like more of a yoga routine or a 15-minute stretch. And I think that should be something that artists should get into the routine of doing daily. Like just make it a habit. Hi, Casper. Speaking of like making things a habit, I have trained myself how to hold a cat and draw because this one is in the constant need of attention. And I try not to give up too much of my drawing time when I'm working. So I've learned how to like kind of cradle Casper with one arm and then press against my body like this. Right, Casper? Like I said, it's funny because I think he's just confused whenever I'm talking in this room. Because I think, even right now, I think he thinks I'm talking to him. Yeah, you're okay, Casper. The other, obviously, bigger piece of advice is watch what you eat. I know I gave up alcohol like 7 months ago. I haven't done any type of like smoking weed or anything in a very long time. And then food, I've like given up candy basically altogether. Uh, I've been vegan for 7 years, and I try to take pretty good care of my body and like what goes in. Just be careful of like things that are like undercover. So if you're drinking too much coffee, I feel like a lot of caffeine probably isn't good for your body. If you're drinking a lot of soda, I mean, soda in general is just bad for you, but that's a lot of like sugar and acid that you don't want in your body. I try not to be too crazy with food stuff, but I am definitely on the kick right now where I'm trying not to even eat anything that has like red 40. Like I said, that could be more of like crazy town, which I'm very much aware that I could be in crazy town when it comes to red 40, but if it has like a bunch of ingredients on the side of the label of whatever you're eating, you'd probably want to be a little more cautious. Like processed food in general, I don't know if you're from America, but in America it is like terrible. Do you know the Skittles that we eat in America aren't even regulated for other countries? Like other countries ban them because they're so bad for the body. There was one country that labeled it not food, like indigestible is what they called Skittles. And yet here we are handing out Skittles like crazy to our children. But anyways, that's more of a personal hot take. Felix says, Tijel says, speaking of songs, Josh, I really liked your music for Drawtober. Do you ever put any of your creations on Spotify? I think he did last year. I think Josh wants to do like full songs, and he feels kind of gypped because, you know, me and Dustin or whoever's making the videos only really need like a 15-second clip to make a reel or to make a video out of. So I always feel like Josh feels slighted by that. But you really should, Josh. You should make full versions and put them on Spotify. Felix says, I have a big softbox with light right in front of my desk. Here in Germany, it gets dark at 4 p.m., so you just need that light so you don't fall asleep. Yeah, we kind of have that in Wisconsin too, where it gets dark, like actually dark around 5 p.m. And yet you feel like the rest of your day is done. It's a weird feeling. It's like, oh, did I get a lot done today? But then you look at the clock, you're like, oh, it's only 4:30. Kind of hate that feeling, but something you have to live with, adjust to. Tizzel says, not cats videos, blasphemy. Yeah. And she hates the videos that we watch too. She doesn't like when it targets only one muscle group. And I think she would rather have something that's more on like a flexibility side while also gaining muscle. I mean, me and Josh have a big goal of being in the best shape of our life come June 1st, come our wedding. So we're trying to do very muscle intensive videos, I would say right now. And they seem to be working. So I don't know what to say. Sorry, Kat. But her videos are also excellent. And if you're looking for like flexibility stuff, or just videos of like a good-hearted trainer behind the training. She's my best friend, and her YouTube is Kitty Hug Fitness. And yeah, she's very good. Yeah, this is ridiculous. The fact that I have to hold the cat and draw is ridiculous. You are ridiculous. So normally people always ask me like, how do I not smudge or how do I draw and not worry about that? Because I'm working, this is a 2H pencil. 2H rarely will smudge. Like I could rub against it quite a bit and you see how it doesn't really smudge. It's when you start working with an HB or darker. So if I had an HB, 2B, and especially like a 4B, 6B, you better believe that that will smudge very quickly and very easily. And the darker of a pencil you get, the better chance you will have of it smudging all over your piece. So that's why I work with a 2H for the first like 80% of the drawing. And when I feel like I'm ready to start committing to the values and the proportions, that's when I'll start pulling out the HB and go more that direction. Take care, Daryl. Gotta head out. Love the stream so far. Thanks for hanging out. Absolutely. And then I should have mentioned this again, but if you weren't here for the beginning of the stream, we have created a new Discord community that I'm going to be on every single day, and I will be doing more casual streams on there as well as more announcement for when the next YouTube ones are. Josh will be doing giveaways every month, and I'm basically giving Josh free reign to go downstairs, take whatever he wants from our merch collection, and basically make a giveaway. So that will start literally on Thursday. Is that December 1st? Or is that Friday? I think it's Thursday. So starting Thursday, Josh will have our first giveaway on the Discord. Tishel says, I always draw with a B2 because I like how dark I can go, but god darn, it smudges quick. Yeah, it really does. And like, I love working with the darker pencils, but I feel like I want to give myself a roadmap first to then commit to those darker values. But I definitely always respect, like I think Alan Williams, who's like my graphite pencil hero, I think he only works in HB and darker. So I think I'm one of the only pencil artists that I think work super light first. It unfortunately probably stems from like a lack of confidence or some kind of like OCD where I need to control it until I feel ready. But yeah, it might take me a little longer, but where I'm at right now, I'm okay with that. Yes, it is Friday. Okay, so then Friday, Josh will have the first giveaway. I might not have this fourth row of feathers. I might actually bring this up. Because there's something I want to do with the feathers for when I do the full reveal. But I think I can't have them go too far down the back. Like that. Now, like I said, this drawing will probably be finished sometime next week because even after the stream, I'll probably switch gears back to the tarot drawing. I'm doing the Knight of, what is it? Knight of Swords. And I definitely want that finished before the end of the month. I try to stick to like a tarot card every month to stay on track. And to stay on track, I need to have this one done by the end of November. So that starting on next week, I can get going on the next card for December. Let's draw a hand here. Curse Vita says, how does one access the mythical Discord? Tigil linked it in the comments, but there's also a link in the comments. So either one will do. And like I said, I'm going to be way more focused on the Discord moving forward. Tigil is one of our wonderful mods. He's actually our lead mod on the Discord. So you'll probably see and hear from him a lot. He is wonderful. And then me and Josh will be on there daily as well. I think we have, 4 mods? And Josh and I. So we'll be running it, and we're going to be experimenting a lot. So if there's something you have seen on like other Discords that work really well, definitely let us know, because we're ready and willing to implement new things. But because we're new to Discord, or not new, but we're definitely new onto like all the features that Discord has available. And then there's some Discords where people are like, oh, I really like this, or oh, this definitely does not work well. No one uses these type of channels. And that's kind of information that we want to hear moving forward, because we want to make it the best experience possible. But if we don't know what we're doing, then obviously that hurts. Oh, Casper, nope. He's biting one of my prints. Casper, why do you do this? Actually, Josh, I might redo your hand pose. I actually don't like the one we took in the picture. I might like just implement one. Oh, Casper. Casper, stop biting things. I think I kind of want like a full hand. I mean, I feel like you get to a point where you've drawn enough hands where you kind of know how long they should be in their structure. How much time do I have left? Like 20-ish minutes? Okay. Let's see. What part of this do I want to finish? I guess I could hint at to one of the surprises that will be in the finished video. So there's going to be a hand outstretched. Let me see how I did this. It's basically in like a gesture of like hand it over. And there's going to be another hand. With scissors kind of opened right against his, or right towards his face. I definitely like very clean, simple storytelling when it comes to graphic images like this. Actually, I don't even know how I hold scissors. Let me see. I gotta like actually hold scissors myself. Okay, so we have the thumb. I can't even take a picture because, oh wait, I guess I could screenshot. Because my phone is currently being the one that's recording. was so awkward. There we go. All right, so I can use that screenshot. So yeah, then I have another hand holding scissors right up against Josh's face. And I'm very excited about this one. You know, when you have, I don't know if a lot of you get this when you're driving, but I get a lot of great ideas when I'm driving, and especially if I like music on that for some reason puts me in a certain vibe or mood. This illustration definitely was the product of that. And I can't say what the song is because I think that will spoil it as well. I'm excited for this new kick of art that I'm trying to do, and it's very much like inspired by life, to really let the videos breathe. So whenever I make a video, I want to have it be something that says either something new or something that I'm excited about. There we go. And I think that's what Drawltober gave me, is the sense that you can work social media without having it be like a constant stress in my life. Like I'm actually excited to make this reel rather than feeling like this horrible, weighty obligation. Oh, also, I should really shout out one of my really good friends. His name is Dustin Panzino, better known online as Inkwell Illustrations. He is absolutely killing it with these YouTube videos, and he just made one on how to make money as an artist in 2024, and I highly recommend it. Like, even if I wasn't friends with Dustin, I would watch these videos. I think they're that good. There we go. The other thing, though, I actually enjoy better about streaming digitally is I can move so much faster. I know there's always like this weird debate about digital versus traditional. I think both obviously are valid for their own reasons, but in my mind, and I know this is kind of a controversial opinion, digital is so much easier. And I'm not saying that those artists should be less credited, because I think art is an expression and it's subjective, so it's going to be different depending on who the viewer is. But I know for myself, I can work so much faster digitally, and I don't have to worry about like little proportion edits or mistakes, because you can just liquefy, move that. Or if I need to do a big block of value, I don't have to, spend 30 minutes doing the entire block, because there's Paint Bucket and you could easily just make the brush bigger and fill it in. So it's streaming. I just feel like it's more entertaining even for you guys to watch when work is happening much faster. I don't know. I'm sure there's some of you that actually don't mind the leisureness of watching a traditional artist's work, but I mean, even for myself, I feel like it's easier to work and talk doing digital. Oh my gosh. Casper, come on now. Come on. Oh. What do you need? What do you need? Hey. All right, I'll hold you again. Actually, let me zoom this up so you can kind of see the whole picture here. Actually, maybe I do like the hand more clenched. Now I'm looking at this. I will definitely tell every artist that ask me about hands that hands are an extension of the emotion going on in the piece. It sounds silly, but it really is. people always talk about Muka for his decadent graphic design skills and his like decadence, but I think he is the best hand artist that I've ever seen. And if you look at it, he intentionally places his hands in ways that add, like elevate either the emotion or the expression that he was going for in the piece. And it's something that really stuck with me. So now whenever I draw hands, they're either going to be like very specifically posed, or I want them to be an extension of the emotion that the character is feeling. So in this case, I want Josh to have a little bit of like a nervousness to his hand. So having it be just open and relaxed doesn't add anything to the story that I'm trying to tell. I need it to be maybe even a clenched fist. Give him a little bit of a Arthur meme. So I'll probably have to take a reference picture of that so it looks like Josh's hand. But I think it adds more to the piece, seeing this, character being confronted with scissors and this like hand, with kind of this nervous but like defensive energy almost. Or I guess you could even read this as like an aggressive energy. I think something that might also help, like right now I purposely pulled his chest and upper body forward a bit. I might actually pull it into the stance that the reference picture is in, where he's further back. It's not as like come at me bro, but a little bit more like, oh, what are you gonna do with that? So once again, if I ever notice something, just immediately change it. Oh, Casper. I'm officially at the end of my eraser thing. My mono zero Tombow eraser. And actually, these are amazing. If you don't have one of these as a traditional artist, I think you're missing out, because I use this all the time. Almost not quite as much as drawing, but definitely a lot. And then I love kneaded erasers, obviously, but I feel like it's more for like larger areas where a mono zero can cover those, little minute areas very quickly and with a lot of precision, which can help. Casper. Oh my gosh, now he just wants to play. Casper, I'm gonna have to like find a playpen for you during these streams so that you don't come in here and bother me constantly when I'm doing these. Thank you, Josh, for posting Dustin's. Curse Vita says maybe having emojis for each Discord channel may make it easier to distinguish between channels. That's what I do with my team Discord channel. Oh, that's not a bad idea. And it makes it more playful and fun. And I feel like for an art community centric Discord, that makes more sense. Tishel says, why do you dream of holding scissors to Josh's face? I guess you'll find out. It'll definitely make way more sense when the full story is out. Actually, you know what? I guess I could reveal the song, because I don't think that would actually give away what I'm going to do in the second part. It'll probably add more confusion to the scissors. But the song that we're going to use for this, it's actually a song that I believe Josh introduced me to a while ago, I think when we first started dating, and it's called Love Me Wrong by Ali X featuring Troye Sivan. And it is very fitting for the video we're trying to make with this one. Like I said, that might add more confusion to the scissors and the hands. We'll see how you interpret it. Like I said, it'll make a lot more sense when the full video is out. Okay. Yeah, I feel like his stance definitely gives more of a relaxed but nervous. A little bit. All right, I think for the last, what do I have, like 10 minutes? Oh, not even. All right, so for the last little bit here, maybe I'll do some detailing on the wings before we cut the stream off. I try to keep these streams at 2 hours-ish. That way for consistency. And it gives me kind of a timestamp to know how much I did in that amount of time. I mean, this one was weird because we also did 2 warm-up drawings. So actually, I feel like I moved pretty quickly through this. But I'm sure once I'm able to look straight down at it, because doing a stream, I always have to draw at a weird angle. My drawings tend to be elongated because of that when I'm doing streaming. So I definitely need to look at it and maybe adjust. Probably shorten and squash them just a little bit to make more sense proportionally. With these wings, I want to do something different though. I found a bunch of bird wing references, specifically swan wings. And what I'm hoping to do, I'll have these up here. But then for some of these wings, so like instead of, let's focus on one of them for the end of the stream. So this one here. So instead of just a simple triangle, I'm going to do something like this. Cats are just making weird noises right now. Okay, you see how, oh, I need to get a new mono. I'm out of my eraser, no. I guess I'll use the needed for the rest of the stream. But you see how these slight irregularities to the edges on the feathers, it just adds so much more character than these simple like ovalish hooks. And let's say I'm moving even further down. I also love, what's that painting called? The Fall of Icarus, I believe. It's one of my favorite paintings ever. And his wings are just massive. And the feathers on the wings are also massive. And I think it leaves such an impact that whenever I draw wings, I try to do something similar, but I feel like I never quite get the same impact because I end up like taming them down near the end. But I wish I would just stick with my guns and keep them massive. But it just always looks slightly off, and I'm like, just make them smaller. And then I always am like, Tim, I should have made them bigger. And then especially as we get some of these super long ones, that's where you can really have fun with like some of the curling in the feathers. Yeah, I have more like this effect going down. And I think it just creates a more interesting looking feather. Do. Yeah, Troy. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of love for Troy right now, but I think a few of us remember Troy back when he was Baby Troy with his Blue Neighborhood album and was still on YouTube. Those were like way, way back. It is cool to see someone from YouTube like make it to the degree that he has and continues to. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely a drawing. I'm going to continue off stream once I finish this tarot card. There we go. I don't know if I even need to show the full leg going down the body. I've been very much more relaxed with letting negative space take up the composition, because I'm realizing more and more that sometimes simplifying a piece into what matters is so much more important and impactful in a piece than just throwing in detail because it's realistically makes more sense, or it's like more sound because you can see the legs. So like it's something that I used to play with negative space way more. I feel like I would let things fade into just like paper texture all the time. And then as I got older, I felt like I had this need to impress people with like how much detail and extravagance I was adding into every drawing. And mind you, I like maximalism, so I'm not going to harp on it too hard, but I feel like the intention behind it was wrong. Where sometimes with like a drawing like this, I don't want decadence or maximalism taking away from the impact of what I'm trying to say with the piece. And not every piece will be a statement piece, obviously. Sometimes I just want to draw a wizard. That's fine. But for pieces where I'm very intentional for what I want to do and what I'm trying to say, yeah, those are the ones that I'm going to be a little more self-analytical of why am I adding this to the drawing. Does this add or take away impact from the message? Yeah, definitely. I'm going to do like a clenched hand, I believe. And then Josh, you have longer eyelashes, so I'm going to give you a bit more of that look. Actually, I might give you, because right now you look too like angry. I'm going to higher your brow to give a bit more of that uncertainty. There we go. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. Because I definitely want there to be a level of like acceptance. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's definitely a level of seeing the scissors and not like putting up a fight, if that makes sense. Oh, that's right. I keep reaching for the mono, but I have to go find my other eraser repack fills for this. Oh, wait. Oh. Look at that. I kept them in my pencil bag. Look at me being a efficient artist. I'll probably do some close-up shots of Josh's face so I can capture his likeness even better. I think when you're trying to capture someone and their likeness almost, maybe not hyper realistic, but you want it to look like them, I think it's good to take more than just one reference photo. And especially because the reference I took of him was like a further away shot, sometimes those details get lost just because the camera has a hard time picking up, details at that distance. So something to be aware of when you're taking reference pictures. If you're really trying to capture the face, or if you want the face to be pretty similar to your reference, take a wide shot of them standing and then have them stay still, and then you physically walk up closer and then take a picture of their face as well. think we're gonna end it here. All right. Okay, like I said, this might be kind of a confusing illustration for where I'm leaving it at right now, but it'll make more sense when I release the full video next week. I will be doing a casual stream tomorrow on the Discord. I think I'll be working either on my next pin design for my Patreon backers, or there's something else digitally. Oh, I have to make my next gold and UV raised print. So I'll be doing one of the two. So if you want to come join me on Discord tomorrow and just work alongside me and have another chat, it'll be definitely more informal. That will be on our Discord, the link below. And yeah, I'm just excited to get back into streaming. I'll be doing this again next Wednesday, probably the same format where I do digital first and then end traditionally. And then, yeah, I think that's all I got. The Black Friday sale that I have on my shop ends tonight. So if you're wanting to get something from me, now's the time. And then lastly, thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming to the stream, and I appreciate it as we kind of try to rebuild this community back up. And I'm excited to do more at home things, and we're hoping to record more videos. Josh and I have a book review one slated for December. I want to do like my favorite art books of 2023, and I might even share some of the non-art book books that I read this year as like a, hey, this book I found really helpful, or this book I did not. Yeah, and just do some more video content now that we're hoping to be home more. So yeah, all right, thank you so much for coming, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you on the Discord. And if not, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. Okay, take care, everyone. I can get all this stuff now out of my face. All right, where's my, oh gosh, now I hid the OBS. Hold on, I guess I gotta find this.